Richard and May. So the attack on the nuclear power plant marks the latest in a series of escalating violence from the Russian military. Washington Post reporter and the anchor of Daily 202, Olivier Knox, joining us live to talk about the latest in this invasion. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So let's talk about, again, the shelling, the Russian shelling of Europe's largest nuclear power plant in Ukraine. Thankfully, the fire, it's been put out, but these workers at the power plant are being held at gunpoint by Russian troops. So what does this say about Russia's military tactics? I mean, people are watching this and saying, how reckless can you get?
Right, they are saying that. I mean, this is part of the Russian siege tactics. You know, we've watched the Russians slowly execute a large kind of pincer movement. They're trying to cut off Ukrainian forces in the eastern part of the country and trying to encircle a number of the country's major cities. This was a part of an effort to get control over the power grid. And that's why you go after a nuclear power plant. No one wants to see any military, Russia's or anyone else's, shelling a nuclear plant. But the experts I've talked to said that the risks of something catastrophic were relatively limited because what they were shelling would not have caused the kind of meltdown we saw, for example, at Chernobyl.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. And then this whole entire week, we've been watching this 40-mile convoy from Russian tanks, Russian trucks approaching the capital of Kyiv, but now it is stalled. Why is that?
This is one of the biggest riddles of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, of this facet of it. This is a convoy of tanks and combat vehicles that has made next to no progress in recent days towards Kyiv. There are news reports, credible news reports of Russian food and fuel shortages. The Ukrainians say that they are doing their best to attack the convoy, but it is basically frozen. The logistical problems that they're having with that convoy are not duplicated in the southern part of the country. The Russian operation in the south seems to be going much more logistically smoothly. We don't know why they've stopped there, is the short answer.
Wow. Unbelievable. So over the last couple of days, we've watched the world come to the aid of Ukraine in terms of humanitarian effort and even, offering military support. Now, do we think, if this is all possible, if China would provide assistance to Putin's military?
Well, I don't think so. I think that the Russian military, whatever you think of its training and tactics, is still it's a very large military. It has been preparing for this for a while. I'm not sure what sort of assistance the Chinese could provide. I mean, the United States is providing Ukraine with intelligence about Russian formations and strategies. That's because Ukraine doesn't have by itself the ability to get that stuff. Or not as well as it would with U.S. help. I'm not quite sure what the Chinese would provide, and the Chinese have been really pretty careful. They've walked this kind of middle path,
right,
where they're not criticizing Russia for this really all that strongly, though they did make a rhetorical nod towards Ukraine's sovereignty. But they're not really criticizing, and they haven't so far really supported. They could have supported Russia at the United Nations Security Council, and they really haven't.
Right. I mean, the developments every day, just continues to escalate, go up further and further. So the question I think now is, how does this end? That's the biggest question we have right now. Olivier Knox, with a reporter with the Washington Post and also the anchor of the Daily 202. Thank you so much for joining our morning show.
Always a pleasure.